At 92, Sir Michael Caine cannot walk to his own front door without calculating the angle of the cane. His spine is collapsing in the specific, relentless way that spinal stenosis collapses things slowly, irreversibly, with the patience of something that does not need to hurry. He has 2 Oscars on a shelf in his Surrey estate. He has a knighthood. He has 160 films across 7 decades. None of that is what saved his life. What saved his life was a woman named Shakira, who watched him deteriorate quietly in a house that had stopped making noise, and who refused to pretend that what she was watching was acceptable. Most men his age are grateful for stillness. Michael Caine spent the better part of 2023 and 2024 discovering that stillness for a man who had not stopped working since he was 14 years old was indistinguishable from dying. Maurice Joseph Micklewhite was born on March 14, 1933, in the Rotherhithe area of Southwark, South London, in a district whose primary exports were poverty, Cockney vowels, and people who became something else entirely or became nothing. His father, Maurice Sr., was a fish market porter who worked Billingsgate Market in the pre-dawn hours while most of London was still sleeping. His mother, Ellen, came from a family whose origins she had kept locked away for 50 years, a secret she took to her grave. The half that Michael always suspected were Romany gypsies. She never confirmed it. She never denied it. His father never knew. Nobody knew. The Blitz came when Michael was 7. The family was evacuated to Norfolk, while German bombs reorganized the geography of the city he had grown up in. He came back to a neighborhood that had been partially rearranged, and to a childhood that was by the standards even of Southwark lean. They shared meals the way people share things when sharing is a structural necessity rather than a social choice. He discovered acting at school, which is to say he discovered that standing in front of people and being someone else felt less frightening than standing in front of people and being himself. He left school at 15. He worked at a film company making tea. He was called up for national service and served in the Korean War, saw combat near the Imjin River, and came home with the specific knowledge that survival is not guaranteed and therefore should not be taken for granted. He tried to become an actor in London in the 1950s, which is the most efficient way to accumulate rejection that the entertainment industry has ever produced. 99% of the older actors he asked for advice told him to quit. He remembers the percentage precisely. He kept the number because the precision of it amused him in retrospect. He starved. Not metaphorically. He had almost nothing and spent it on acting classes and photographs and bus fare to auditions that produced nothing. He slept on a couch in a friend's flat in Brixton. He collected unemployment benefits and felt shame about it that he later decided was misplaced. His first significant television work came in the late 1950s. His first significant film work came in the early 1960s. Then in 1966, Alfie arrived. Alfie Elkins, the unreflective Cockney womanizer who delivers his philosophy directly to the camera without apparent awareness that the philosophy is dismantling him, was the role that told the world who Michael Caine was. He played Alfie with the specific quality of someone who understands his character from the inside, not just technically, but emotionally, and whose understanding produces a performance that the audience receives as recognition rather than observation. He received an Academy Award nomination. He was 33 years old. Get Carter in 1971. The Man Who Would Be King in 1975, California Suite in 1978, Educating Rita in 1983, Hannah and Her Sisters in 1986, his first Academy Award, The Cider House Rules in 1999, his second, The Dark Knight Trilogy, Youth, The Great Escaper. 160 films over 7 decades, a body of work that constitutes not just a career, but an argument. The argument that a boy from Rotherhithe with a state school education and a father who worked Billingsgate Market at 4 in the morning could become one of the defining actors of the century. Alfie Elkins, the unreflective Cockney womanizer who delivers his philosophy directly to the camera without apparent awareness that the philosophy is dismantling him, was the role that told the world who Michael Caine was. He played Alfie with the specific quality of someone who understands his character from the inside, not just technically but emotionally, and whose understanding produces a performance that the audience receives as recognition rather than observation. He received an Academy Award nomination. He was 33 years old. The decade that followed was the decade that confirmed the nomination was not accidental. He made films with a frequency and a consistency that the industry of the 1960s and 1970s demanded of its working actors, and that he provided with the professionalism of someone who understood that showing up prepared and delivering what the role required was the entirety of the job description. He was not a method actor who disappeared into characters for months of preparation. He was a craftsman who arrived knowing his lines and his character and his blocking, and who left his instruments in the frame rather than his ego. The Ipcris File in 1965. Funeral in Berlin in 1966, The Italian Job in 1969, where he had once been told that his accent would prevent him from being taken seriously. He made the accent into the instrument. The working-class South London vowels that addiction coaches had told him to erase became the most recognizable quality of one of the most recognizable voices in world cinema. Get Carter in 1971. The Man Who Would Be King in 1975 alongside Sean Connery. The friendship that would sustain him across 40 years, and whose eventual ending would constitute one of the private griefs that Shakira held him through. California Suite in 1978 demonstrated range that the action films and thrillers had not required. Educating Rita in 1983 demonstrated emotional access that the action films and thrillers had not been designed to use. Hannah and Her Sisters in 1986 gave him his first Academy Award. He was 53 years old and the only person in the theater who appeared completely unsurprised. The Cider House Rules in 1999 gave him his second at 66, which is the age at which most actors' Academy careers have moved into the retrospective phase. He received both awards for performances that were quiet rather than demonstrative, interior rather than declarative, the opposite of the kind of performance that tends to attract Academy attention, which may be why it took the Academy 2 tries across 40 years to adequately assess what it had. The Dark Knight Trilogy. Youth, The Great Escaper. 160 films over 7 decades, and the through line in all of them is the same quality that the physical therapist described when she said, "We're negotiating with age rather than fighting it." He has always negotiated rather than fought. He has always understood that the camera rewards the actor who does less, who trusts what is already there, who does not add performance to material that already contains what it needs. But the numbers do not capture what was underneath the decades. 2 bottles of vodka per day in the early 1970s. That was the number. 2 bottles daily, sustained for long enough that the people around him were genuinely afraid of where the trajectory was heading. He was successful and famous and drinking himself toward an ending that would have arrived much earlier than 2025. Shakira Baksh entered his life in 1971. She was a model from Guyana, beautiful with the specific quality of beauty that is also intelligence and warmth simultaneously, and she appeared in a Maxwell House coffee commercial that Michael Caine happened to see on television. He was at a dinner party in Los Angeles. He left the dinner party to find the woman in the commercial. He found her. He understood immediately that this was the person. She married him in 1973. She stopped the drinking. This is the fact that Michael Caine has stated plainly in interviews across 50 years, without embellishment, without the performance of gratitude, that public declarations about personal salvation tend to require. She stopped it. He said that without her intervention, he would not have survived the decade. She also built the family. Their daughter Natasha was born in 1973. Shakira raised her and Michael's daughter Dominique from a previous relationship, and the 2 families became one household with the organic integration that only works when the person at the center of it is genuinely capable of love rather than performing it. She held him through the deaths. Sean Connery, Roger Moore, Terrence Stamp. The specific grief of watching the generation you came up with disappear one by one, leaving you increasingly alone in a landscape that does not recognize the references that constitute your interior life. She watched him cry 3 times in 50 years. Once when his mother died. Once when he held their first grandchild. Once when his body first refused an instruction and he could not get up the stairs without assistance. That 3rd time was the beginning of what became between 2018 and 2023 the slow dissolution of the man she had kept alive for 50 years. The fall in 2018 was the physical turning point. Spinal stenosis, already progressing, accelerated into something that made ordinary movement a calculation. Every step required thought. Every ascent required assessment. The distance from the chair to the door became a variable that needed planning. His doctors explained spinal stenosis in the particular way that British doctors explain irreversible deterioration calmly, precisely, and with the implicit suggestion that one should find a way to accept what cannot be altered. The condition would worsen. Movement would decrease. The question was the rate of decline and the management of pain, not the reversal of either. The film work slowed. The insurance companies began adding clauses. Studios whispered about liability. The phone that had rung continuously since 1963 began producing longer silences between calls. He announced his retirement in 2023, following the release of The Great Escaper, the film about Bernard Jordan, the D-Day veteran who escaped from his care home to attend the commemorations in Normandy. The film received the best reviews of his career. Critics called it a masterclass. He sat in his study, surrounded by 2 Oscars and a BAFTA fellowship, and read the reviews and felt something that was not pride. He felt the door closing. "I am bloody 90 now and I can't walk properly." He told the BBC, "I've had a great career, but I'm done." He had worked since he was 14, 76 years without a sustained pause. Retirement for a man whose identity had been constructed entirely from professional purpose was not rest, it was amputation. Some mornings he reached for scripts that were not there. He rehearsed lines for films that had not been commissioned. He watched old films where a younger version of himself moved without consulting his body first. He tended his garden and wrote his memoir, and the memoir's title, "Don't Look Back, You'll Trip Over," had the quality of a man preparing his own epitaph and trying to make it sound cheerful. Shakira watched this. She had watched him navigate 2 bottles of vodka per day in the 1970s and find the exit. She had watched him survive the deaths of everyone he came up with. She had watched him work through physical pain for years with the stubbornness of someone who has decided that stopping is a category that does not apply to him. This was different. This was a man losing the only thing that had ever made him feel entirely present. "You're still a lion," she told him on the mornings when the pain medication had not yet reached its full effect and the cane felt heavier than physics could account for. She made him the breakfast his mother used to make, leftover bread fried in drippings, and pretended not to notice when he only finished half. She put on Sinatra records and danced alone in the living room until he had no option but to smile. Then in September 2024, Vin Diesel called. The offer was for The Last Witch Hunter 2. Vin Diesel, the action star who had refused to accept that the man he considered a hero was finished, who had lost Paul Walker suddenly and understood at a cellular level what it means to lose someone before the conversation is complete, called a 92-year-old man with a degenerative spine and said, "I need you." Not "I want you, I need you." Every logical argument pointed toward no. His agents said no. His doctors said no. Shakira, who had spent 50 years keeping him alive, gently suggested that perhaps this was not the right project. The insurance required 17 signatures and a medical examination that lasted 4 hours. The physical demands of an action film were for a man who calculated the angle of every staircase genuinely life-threatening. He said yes, not because he needed the money. $60 million in assets, grandchildren's education, secured charitable foundations funded for decades, not because he needed the recognition. 2 Oscars and a knighthood exceed what most people consider a reasonable allocation of validation, not even because he was certain he could do it, because purpose does not have an expiration date, and a lion would rather die roaring than live in comfortable silence. The preparation is honest about its own difficulty. A physical therapist who specializes in geriatric performers meets him every morning, 2 hours before the normal call time, to run through the medications and the movements and the specific techniques for appearing not to be managing what he is managing. "We are not fighting age," she told him. "We are negotiating with it." He is honest about the negotiation in interviews. He does not pretend it is easy. He says the cane is permanent and the pills are numerous and the pain is constant. He says his wife calls him a lion in winter. He says even old lions remember how to hunt. He will be 92 and a half when filming begins in September 2025. The insurance costs more than some independent films' entire budgets. The set will have medical personnel present at all times. Special chairs have been built that appear to be set dressing and function as support infrastructure. Body doubles will handle everything that his body cannot handle. But when the cameras roll and he becomes someone other than himself, everyone present will understand that what they are witnessing is not an old man attempting to reclaim past glory. It is a man demonstrating that the real death is not the one that stops your heart. The real death is the one that stops your reason for its beating. Shakira understood this before he did. She had kept him alive through the vodka and through the grief and through the physical deterioration, not because she was performing loyalty, but because she had understood from the beginning what Michael Caine was actually for, and was not willing to watch it go unused while he was still breathing. The boy from Rotherhithe, whose mother kept a 50-year secret, whose father worked Billingsgate Market at 4 a.m, who was told by 99% of working actors to give it up, who drank 2 bottles of vodka a day until the right woman looked at him clearly and told him he was done with that, who worked for 76 years without extended pause, and then discovered in retirement that stillness was unbearable, is returning to a film set at 92. He will be 93 when the film releases. Logic says this is madness. His body protests every morning. The odds are not favorable. But Michael Caine has never listened to logic. He listens to the voice that says one more time, one more roll, one more morning when waking up means something specific is going to happen. 50 years ago, Shakira Baksh appeared in a Maxwell House commercial, and a man left a dinner party in Los Angeles to find her. He has never been entirely finished telling her what that decision produced. This film is the latest installment of the telling. What role of Michael Caine's has stayed with you longest? The one you watched as a teenager that you still think about? Leave it in the comments. Some performances don't get old, neither apparently does the man who gave them. The boy from Rotherhithe is still going. The lion is still hunting. The only difference is the cane in the angle of the stairs, and the woman who has been watching from the same room for 50 years, making sure he does not go gentle into anything.